Yeah, I had a classmate friend of mine who had a very interesting philosophy. He used to say, every time I feel like learning something new, I take a heavy meal and the feeling goes away. How many of us are feeling like the feeling of learning has gone away after the lunch? So, welcome to this session. And the session that we are going to be having this afternoon will be about how our decisions as business owners impact our profitability and our cash positions. Before I get to that, I know we come from different backgrounds. I want to ask if you know what is the difference between profitability and cash position. If you can distinguish the two, stand up. Okay. Those who have stood, those who are standing, I want us to explain to those who are seated what is the difference between profitability and cash position. And those who are seated, if the answer you get makes it clear to you, you also stand up. Who wants to go? I want us to, you're not explaining to the person seated on your table, you're explaining to all of us.
Let me try. Profitability is it deals with profit. It deals with profit, and profit is calculated by taking your cost and your selling price. So your selling price and the cost. When you subtract the cost, you left with a profit. And a cash position is cash which you have at hand.
Yes, let's anyone who has stood up after that explanation? Well, great, let's
Profitability is revenue net expenses. That is all the revenues minus your expenses to see how much money you have, how much you made on the process, and cash position is how liquid your fund is, or you are.
No one who has stood up?
No people searching.
Oh, people stand up? Oh, they also need to be. Yes, Jace.
I'm saying I heard what that's why I was getting this. Yeah.
Those who are seated, any of us who stood up?
I tend to go a bit of it, but I got confused at the point.
Yes.
If we can be mystifying the word, it sounds Japanese, maybe for the first time.
When it comes to, that means all of us seated. So if you get what my explanation is, please stand up. Is it? Okay. When it comes to profitability, it means that the firm, when it looks at the end of the year or at the end of a particular period, all the sales or revenues that came in all forms, minus all the costs that were incurred. And when I'm saying incurred, it's not necessarily that they were paid for. The costs that were incurred. We talk about incurring, of course, by that at this particular timeline. For example, someone did a service to your vehicle. You incurred that cost. It could mean you incurred it and paid it for it, or you told the person, I'll pay you after 3 months. So you have incurred that cost. So the sales that you have made, gain sales are the sales that you have made, not necessarily that they have been paid for. So if you treated a patient and that patient, you charged them 30,000 and they said, I don't have the money now, I'll pay the money later, it means you have made that sale. So there's you have made that sale. So the difference between what you have sold, whether the money came in or not, and what you incurred in terms of costs and expenses, whether you're paid for them or not, that is profit. In terms of cash, we talk about the cash, the actual money that came in, and you got it. It got either into your account or you have it in your cash box. So there we are talking of cash in. And then the cash you actually paid out, the money that was paid out and is to suppliers or to employees or to whoever else you paid out, that's cash out. So we look at the difference between those two. We can talk about cash position. If it's clear to you, you can stand up. Great. Let's give all of us a clap. So when it comes to a good business, you would say your right hand. Which is your right hand? Yeah, this is your right hand. So a good business is making profit. Do like this. And a good business is also in a good cash position. Do like this. You are wonderful students. So we are going to evaluate the decisions that we make as business owners that impact those two aspects of business. The revenues, or the cash position, and the profitability. And in that page 11 of your workbook, we are looking at two situations that we have been, or two situations that we have been given there. I want you to read in a group in your table. This what you have read there, or the instructions as provided there, and we look at how does this affect the profitability of business and the cash position of that business, and what are the immediate consequences to that business. That's number A. You do it in your group. Yeah, number A. Yes. We have 2 minutes to do that. You have 30 seconds to go. Okay, time out. Okay, let's come back and have all of us. How did the decision, the private doctor, decided to introduce some new payment incentives, the payment incentives? How did they affect the profitability of the business? Who wants to go first? Let's hear from you.
Profitability may either remain the same or may go up because now new clients are receiving 10% discount, so they may have many more new clients coming in, so they will increase profitability. But if it's at the same level, it will remain unchanged.
Anything to add on that?
As we consider the scenario where it doesn't have maybe volumes increasing the numbers, so we say the profitability may.
You up what they had? On cash position? The cash position will go down. Should be distributed. Will go down. So the cash position will go down. You okay with that? What are the immediate consequences to the business?
The working capital will be reduced, so that you don't have
Something else you want to add?
The business may easily run out of cash.
The business may easily run out of cash.
Hoping that the strategy works. Working with the existing business that you have, you frustrate. You will lack capacity to handle the large numbers that are coming to deal with as a result of that. That's something to try to make that.
And in the end, you will have, you will not meet your short-term obligations.
Thank you very much. My time is up. For those who are doubting who I am, I'm Sam Kariuki.
Okay, what were the strengths? Tell me now.
He valued participants. He remained in charge.
What else?
He was energetic.
Uh-huh.
He kept the discussion going on continually.
You had a steam entry at the beginning of the lesson.
What else?
He handled people who had misconceptions. I think pretty well.
Yes.
Good master of his area of
Anything else?
The pop-ups were
The pop-ups, yes.
a good style, learning style.
Uh-huh. You're tired. Yes.
Debrief was on.
His debrief was on point. Okay, I thought the joke regarding the heavy meal eliminating the interest in learning was a great way to start. Standing and defining the difference between cash position and profitability, and then if those seated understand. I thought that was a brilliant thing to do. Unfortunately, with this group, it backfired terribly. And particularly when people started sitting down. Flip charting, I thought you were going to flip chart answers. Your humor, and you tried so hard to avoid lecturing. You really tried hard to avoid that. I like this, having people stand up, and this is the cash position, this is the profit. That was great. Okay, recommendations.
I think when he was asking, clarifying whether everybody was with him, in terms of having explained the difference between cash flow and profitability, he took it for granted that everybody had stood up, but I don't know whether it is the height of Sammy. He didn't recognize him seated down. And he said, so all of us.
Some will always have.
So, actually, I was trying to put across a message which you ignored. When you assumed that everybody was with you, I was actually not with you. And I wanted you to know that I wasn't with you so that you can put me on the path. And finally I decided, let me just stand so that I can be just like the rest of you.
At some point, I posed a question. I needed further clarification on the word liquid. And he somehow, I don't know whether deliberately he being cautious of time, he chose to digress from that to focus on something else, so I was left wondering.
Yes, John?
At some point, as I was reading the exercise, it struck my mind that I needed to do some calculations. So I think also the time awarded for this exercise was late. And that's why it was true. Because once it struck the mind, the percentage and everything, it's, I need to calculate so that I can see whether I will be high profitability or high cash position or something like that.
He chose to add some things, right?
I chose to remove some things from the instructions. It would have been a bit
This was a highly technical
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
numerical
this was a, yeah.
subject. And you see, somebody teaching has to be a numerical sort of person who thinks logically. And for you to teach illogically all over the place using this methodology is quite confusing for the lecturer and for us. I was one of the people who left this place a bit confused until I saw those hands.
Yeah, and the groups that you'll be training, this will be brand new language, it will be nonsense, right? Yeah, so there, yeah, it does take a lot more time. What I had hoped is that we would just get into the scenarios, and you recognize quite quickly that that wasn't going to happen if people didn't know what we were talking about. Yeah, it definitely does need.
Actually, I hope everyone understands when they ask the difference.
Of course.
And then you go to scenarios later.
Right. Yeah, I knew that's what you wanted. Other recommendations? Yes.
I thought it took a lot of time trying to explain the two words, and that really took much of the time that was allocated to him. I thought at this level, there was no point in trying to be very academic and explaining what profitability is, because this is like, it's an assessment that he only needed to point out that this is it, and then he manages his time.
But it seemed to me, I don't know, did other people feel that Sam took that much time? Because I was feeling that the time had gone with trying to get the answers from people at the beginning. So I don't know. Yeah, Mercy?
No, I felt the same. I saw it as if it's taken a lot of time in the first part of it.
I'm a little bit confused because what Sam was explaining, I don't know whether he would accomplish it in few hours. Yeah, so that people get to understand. People like Bendy, who thought that they knew. Consciously.
The unconsciously incompetent, yes. Yeah.
I think the way he structured his presentation was a smart way to progress the learning so that there is comprehension. Because there was no purpose of getting into the activity when people don't understand the difference between profitability and cash position. His investment in terms of trying to explain those concepts was very, very important for people to be able to understand that.
To do the activity, yeah.
To not have served any purpose to do the activity and people understand.
Actually, I had made an assumption I will not need to explain them, so I had to think how to explain them very fast. And I noticed.
Yes, yeah.
You know, it was quite unfair to give him this kind of task.
It wasn't even.
I'm sorry.
There was nothing to stop him from just putting, what do you call it, like a diagram to explain the cash position and then take as four. Because I'm assuming that in a class like once that are going to come together later on, you're going to find very many people like me.
Oh, I hope not.
I think some did well, but you could have been able to avoid lectures by phrasing that kind of question, that kind of explanation. In another way, in terms of the doctors themselves, the nurses, coming up with a scenario for themselves, so they can be able to understand profitability and cash positions in their own way, as compared to a finance expert. Because the more that he did was more on the way the finance expert looked at it, how that profitability is. But if you could be able to, so that Melvin could understand, you could be able to tell Melvin to tell you how profitability in that kind of facility that needs only. You can differentiate that cash position. Then therefore, people are avoiding it.
Okay. Any other recommendations? Yes.
For an activity like this was very, he engaged people very well. Just for something as technical as that, we have even used other examples to other activities such as games, simple games to illustrate profitability and cash flow, just to augment on his note.
I'll have to go look at what we have in that entire module to see. I don't fault him at all for doing, finally doing the lecture, because he really tried to avoid it every way possible. When you were up here and you started to write, I thought you were going to say, okay, profitability, so here are the key points, cash position, here are the key points. So it was right there in front of people, so that could have helped.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Perhaps we need to incorporate a case study. In my humble opinion, these are simple scenarios that come up with figures on specific items. So you give it to the participants to analyze and comment, for example, because those are things that usually given at the time. So to make a lot of sense and internalize learning, if you subject them to such.
Okay. Again, I don't remember at this point what is in that module, but the intent was to set people up for success so they could do this. So hopefully by the time this scenario occurs, things have happened so that you can get into this scenario. Okay? That's how it was designed. I'll have to go double check that. You're using the kinesthetic. I loved. You probably could do something more clever with it. You know, I was expecting that there might be some. First of all, I was delighted you did it. I was expecting that, okay, they do something different with the hand. You know, like, okay, let's help ourselves out. If we're talking about cash, we've got it here. If it's a profitability, or yeah, something like that, yeah. Good. Give him a hand. I think he did a great job.